Yeah, I just thought I'd throw this out. This happened around 1978. Family vacation. And my family vacation always was going up to New York. Had to go to Lounsbury Avenue in New York. Because the warden's boss, good old Lorraine, lived on Lounsbury and couldn't go on vacation without going to New York. Spent 20 years doing the same crap. Hated it. I think during that time there was 3 vacations that I actually did what I wanted to do, but I had to take 2 vacations that year. One, the main one, at least 2 weeks, Lounsbury Avenue in the Heights. Had to be with the warden and her family. Totally talked me off. Well, anyways, we're on our way up. We just passed Trout Run, doing 45 miles an hour, and this motorcycle passed us. There was a guy driving, little kid on the back, little kid had a helmet on, Dad didn't, and went by us at least 60 miles an hour. When we get about 4 miles down the road, and I seen a state trooper with his lights on, and I also noticed there's a motorcycle on the side of the road. So I pulled over. The warden started complaining. I just totally ignored her. Turned the car off, took the key. I only had 1 key to the vehicle. I made sure of that. I took the key and went back. The officer was kneeling down next to the man, and I popped up and I asked him if he needed anything, and the officer says, no, we're waiting for the ambulance and I got a report to make out. And I started looking around and I said, well, what about his passenger? And that officer looked up at me and went, what? And I said, yeah, he had a kid on the back with a helmet, hanging out for dear life as he was going past me about 5 miles down the road. That officer looked at me and says, I wasn't told about a passenger. Well, there was a passenger, little kid about 5 or 6 years old. Well, the officer said he had to stay with the victim until EMS got there, as he was going in and out of shock. And if I wouldn't mind looking for the little girl. Well, about that time there was 3 or 4 people hanging around, and I just told them about I assumed it was a little girl. That was my assumption, my guess. Well, we all started walking out into the field, and EMS arrived. We made it about 20, 30 feet out into the field when EMS arrived. Sheriff was walking up to me and asked me to stick around to make out a report. And I said, yeah, that's not a problem. Well, right after he got those words out, we heard this person yell, she's over here. So we beelined it to where he was. Sure enough, it was a little girl. She had a helmet on. The helmet had a crack in it. The officer took the helmet off, started checking for vitals, and the officer looked at me and goes, thank you. And I just looked at him. And as she was picking her up, the little girl came to and wanted to know where Daddy was. Well, we looked over at the sheriff's car. The lights are still on. Second EMS ambulance was pulling behind the sheriff's car as the first one was leaving. And the sheriff looked at me and He said, yeah, I radioed for another ambulance as soon as you told me that there was another person out here. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Well, he gave as they were walking, I was walking next to him. The little girl wanted me to know how her daddy was. We didn't know. The little girl, sheriff told the little girl that the ambulance is going to give her a ride to the hospital and she can see her daddy there. Well, we got to the ambulance and the little girl was just scratched. There was basically nothing wrong with her. I guess when the motorcycle threw her, she rolled, and the guy took the impact of the accident. Now I went back to the sheriff's car and wrote out a statement, and he thanked me for stopping by. And I just looked at him and I said, well, now I gotta go fight with the warden. And he popped up and he goes, huh? Well, I explained to him about the warden. He goes, I'll help you with that. Well, as I was getting in the car, he was knocking on the window, and Pam lowered the window, and the officer popped up and went, Mrs. Taylor, if it wasn't for your husband, I would not have known about that little girl. You need to grow up. And he walked away. Pam said nothing. I had the most pleasant trip going to Lounsbury because Pam didn't utter one little word the rest of the trip. Well, anyways, I dropped the kids off and I asked them if they wanted to go with me. And I'm going over to Brewers. Well, Chris knows about Brewers, so Chris and I went to Brewers. And then we stopped by the fire department and saw Mom. And then, you know, we had to be back, you know, for supper at Lorraine's. Well, we get back and do supper. Lorraine popped up and accused me of telling that officer to tell Pam to grow up. I looked at Lorraine and I went, you are full of shit. All I told that officer was that the warden didn't even want to stop. Because your daughter don't give a shit about nobody or nothing except her family. Cut and dry. And that family don't include me or those two children that she gave birth to. So don't even go there, Lorraine. It's all about you. And I got up and I left. I couldn't even eat the crap that she served. I got up and I left. I got in the car and I went to Brewers. Anyways, that just goes to show you that when you see something, stop. Stop and report it. Could save a life. Anyway, this will be up in a little bit. Have a beautiful day. Bye.